The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game was one of the most talked about occasions in women's basketball history. Fans throughout the country expected electrifying performances and brilliant plays, but few saw what would transpire at the All-Star Draft. Adding the event's customary format and making headlines before the game even began, Caitlyn Clark, one of the league's most well-known rising stars, took charge in a way rarely seen from a rookie. She was joined on the national stage by notable individuals such as Sophie Cunningham and the well-known Cheryl Miller. They all contributed differently to what turned out to be an unforgettable sporting event. When Caitlyn Clark joined the WNBA, she had a very high standards, having caused a stir during her historic time as an Iowa College student. She quickly gained the respect of her peers and supporters thanks to her long-range shooting, court vision, and courageous attitude. Being so popular that she outvoted every other player in the All-Star fan vote, she was selected as captain of one of the two All-Star teams. That was impressive in and of itself, especially considering that she was a newbie. But Clark didn't stop there. Her following acts rocked the league. At the live, televised All-Star Draft on July 8, 2025, Caitlyn Clark did something that had never been done before. When the time came to after checking the head coaches assigned to each club at the conclusion of the draft, she casually turned to Nifa Collier, the opposing team's captain, and proposed switching coaches. Something that has never happened in the history of the league.
Trade coaches. He's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Oh,
It's going to be amazing.
Cheryl Reeve had planned to trade Sandy Brondello, the head coach of the New York Liberty, who had been assigned to Collier's team, for Clark when she was initially assigned to the Minnesota Lynx. Both Clark and Nafi Sacklier chuckled, and the league officials permitted the change to stay in effect. This unforeseen incident gained media attention very fast. Although the switch had never been produced before, it wasn't entirely new. It was the confidence with which Clark took charge of the situation. The exact words she used were, "I'm not sure if this is permitted." Prior to proposing the deal, I stated, "I don't really care." Her boldness signaled that players were now speaking up. Even at high-profile events like the All-Star Game, they run and play the game. Many people praised her for making the effort and for bringing energy to the event. Others saw it as a direct response to prior disputes between Clark and Coach Reeve, including criticism that had been expressed earlier in the season during talks about the Olympic roster. A reputable WNBA coach with years of experience and a strong track record, Caitlyn Clark's Olympic rejection recently engulfed coach Cheryl Reeve in scandal. Clark's rejection from the Team USA women's basketball squad for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris was mostly due to Reeve, who served as the national team's coach. The novices. The hostility between Clark and Reeve may have been the driving force behind the decision to trade her out of the All-Star Game. Regardless of whether that was Clark's true intention, many people interpreted the action as a subtle yet powerful statement, based on speculation from fans and commentators. Nifa Collier, who had eventually coached Reeve on her side, took the trade well once it happened. They might benefit from the fact that Reeve was already familiar with all of Collier's teammates who were connected to Minnesota. She then joked that Clark might have erred in the transaction. The tone was still lighthearted, but it was evident that this was a well-thought-out and grave move. Clark was looking for a coach that could better understand her playing style and make her feel comfortable. She chose Sandy Brondello, a coach well known for her adaptable techniques and strong relationships with her players. Many believe that she would allow Clark the freedom she needed to produce her best effort during the showcase game. Another WNBA player, Sophie Cunningham, entered the discussion as the coach trade speculations spread on social media and in sports publications. Cunningham, renowned for her ferocious passion and candid. For many years, nature has been a voice in the league for defending and pushing boundaries, rights of players.
she didn't hesitate to
show her support for Clark, praising her confidence and ability to act decisively, having endured her fair share of hardships. Within the league, Cunningham recognized the significance of a young athlete such as Clark, assuming a position of leadership at such early in her professional life. Cunningham, furthermore, used the opportunity to sketch, observe the league's modifications. In the past, players would often adhere to disregarding the league's regulations. The newer generation of athletes is currently proving that they are not afraid to speak up and assume leadership roles when they feel like something has to change. Cunningham emphasized that this is advantageous for women's sports in general as well as the league's growth, with celebrities like Clark serving as the model. Fans are more moved when they see sportsmen being authentic, taking chances, and managing their careers. Even as Caitlyn Clark and Sophie Cunningham made news with their bold words and actions, legendary basketball player Cheryl Miller made waves with her thoughts and reaction to the incident. Cheryl Miller, a seasoned analyst and one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time, has long been an ardent advocate for the growth and purity of the game. One of the most exciting and important moments in the All-Star's history, she said, was the coach changeover.
Game.
In her view, it was more than just entertainment. The way WNBA players are viewed in relation to power and decision-making has changed. Such a situation, Miller explained, showed the league's development. In the past, players choosing or switching coaches on national television would have been unthinkable. These days, the league encourages player involvement, individuality, and fan contact. Miller praised Clark for his professionalism and self-assurance, noting that this will likely change the tone for future events. She believed that the WNBA was on the cusp of a new era when fans would be more entertained and players would have more power. The matches by the conclusion of the draft, the All-Star games were decided. Caitlyn Clark's team included some of the best young players in the league, including Wilson, Sada Sabali, Aaliyah Boston, and Sabrina Ionescu. Under Sandy Brondello's tutelage, the team had a potent offensive and astute leadership combination. On the other hand, Keir's team, led by Cheryl Reeve, featured Alicia Gray, Breanna Stewart, Paige Bookers, and Nneka Onyeama, making it yet another strong team. The All-Star Game on July 19th was anticipated to be a spectacle full of drama, excitement, and adrenaline in addition to being competitive. The narrative's capacity to mix humor and rivalry was what made it so interesting. Clark brought the unscripted drama that is frequently present in men's leagues, especially the NBA. When LeBron James speaks up or changes the dynamics of the team, there is a lot of discussion. When Caitlyn Clark began doing something similar in the WNBA, the world took note. For a league that has regularly fought for equitable media coverage, this was a crucial moment. Viral videos, highlight reels, and panel debates were all over social media. The audience was no longer limited to sports fans. The WNBA piqued the interest of many who had never followed it before. Considering that this wasn't, several critics also brought up the issue of a planned media deception. It was genuine, spontaneous, and full of uniqueness. That sincerity is what attracted so many fans. Sports media have regularly attacked the WNBA for being unduly formal, with players expected to follow the rules, keep quiet, and focus only on the game. However, Caitlyn Clark changed that with a single comment, and the media praised her for it. At this point, one thing was also made extremely clear. Player influence is growing in the WNBA. Athletes were not given much influence over the big decisions made by coaches and league officials for a long time, but the All-Star coach exchange. Clark showed that in addition to wanting to be included in the decision-making process, the players are ready to take the lead. Other league regions also exhibit this. Athletes such as A.A. Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Nneka have taken up leadership roles within the players' union and helped create policies concerning marketing, pay, and travel arrangements. With Clark taking center stage as a rookie and already influencing coaching decisions, the next generation of players is undoubtedly more potent than ever. The league's decision to keep it open is also important. In spite the coach switch was allowed by the WNBA despite it being against the rules. That quiet confirmation said a lot. The league stated in this way that we are paying attention to the players. In other leagues, the same strategy would have led to penalties or public outrage, but in this one, it was hailed with a catchy headline that shows how much the WNBA is improving in terms of player and leadership trust as well as skill. The coach change undoubtedly signaled a larger generational transition in basketball as well. Athletes like Caitlyn Clark are examples of a new generation of athletes. Confident, tech-savvy, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. The younger generation was brought up with observing NBA players' expressions both on and off the field. They observed how social media, player branding, and public spaces allowed athletes to interact directly with fans. In the WNBA right now, they are acting similarly. This new generation does not want to be confined by traditional structures. They want personalities to emerge, rivalries to grow, and drama to naturally occur. The All-Star Game coach swap demonstrated such strategy. Because it was bold, impromptu, and slightly rebellious, fans loved it. More experienced athletes like Tamika and Sue Bird laid the foundation, catchings who were professional and committed. By building on that foundation, players like Caitlyn Clark are now creating something bigger, louder, and more noticeable. Because it blends aspects of the past and present, the WNBA of today is so distinctive. While remaining loyal to its roots, the league is evolving. Furthermore, Caitlyn Clark's impudence is altering the WNBA's image in the eyes of corporate sponsors. Brands greatly respect athletes who can create viral moments. Businesses took notice after the coach exchange, which garnered millions of views and trending hashtags. Clark already had important contracts with businesses before the season began, such as Nike and Gatorade. But this kind of attention makes her much more marketable. The number of personality-driven sponsorships in the WNBA is increasing. Star power is more significant than just statistics. When athletes create headlines, brands are exposed. Following the draft, marketing strategists predicted a spike in WNBA jersey sales, demand for All-Star Game tickets, and league visibility. Some even compare Clark's influence on the WNBA to that of Serena Williams on tennis or Simone Biles on gymnastics. Clark is not the only one drawing new fans to the sport since, in her opinion, Cheryl made the moment even more memorable. Miller's strong statement and Sophie Cunningham's fervent endorsement. It proved that there are many strong, outspoken women in the WNBA who are willing to challenge norms and lead cultural conversations. Companies today are keen to take part in it. This all-star moment will most likely change how the tournament is run in the long run. It's no longer just an enjoyable exhibition. It provides a forum for leadership, influence, and creative control. Now, fans can look forward to yearly player-driven,